Thank you very much. Welcome to Randy's Vinyl Tap. Thank you. This show is in response to hundreds of emails I got from the tap heads out there who listen to my radio show and have asked for the stories behind my own songs. I'm very proud of the songs, and here's a whole evening of it. It basically... Basically, it's all about Winnipeg. It's the story of myself, Burton Cummings, Fred Turner from Bachman and Toronto Drive, Neil Young, and many others. And Winnipeg in the 60s was like Liverpool. It was quite fantastic. Any of you here in the 60s? Remember the drinking age was 21? So when there's a dance, everybody from 21 down went to that dance. So it was teenagers and people who were, the older kind of thing. So the dances were fantastic. Every weekend there was hundreds of dances and hundreds of bands played together. And so I'm going to give you the story of the Prairie Town. Born and raised in a prairie town, just a kid full of dreams. We didn't have much but a radio, and music came from places we'd never been. Growing up in a prairie town, learning to drive in the snow. Not much to do, so you start a band, and soon you've gone as far as you can go. And winter nights are long, when summer days are gone. Portage and Maine 50 below. Springtime melts the snow, the rivers overflow. Portage and Maine 50 below. Portage and Maine 50 below. A little prairie guitar. All the bands in a prairie town tried to outdo the next in line, learning records out of Liverpool, dreams of England on their minds. And on the other side of Winnipeg, Neil Young and the Squires played the zone. But then he went to play for a while in Thunder Bay. He never looked back and he's never coming home. And winter nights are long, when summer days are gone. Portage and Maine 50 below. Springtime melts the snow, the rivers overflow. Portage and Maine 50 below. Portage and Maine 50 below. No guitar. Just a band from a prairie town. Sometimes we drive from coast to coast, but one call from LA and we pack and fly away. But in our hearts we're always prairie folks. Looking back at a prairie town, people ask me why I went away. To fly with the best, sometimes you have to leave the nest, but the prairies made me what I am today. And winter nights are long, when summer days are gone. Portage and Maine 50 below.
springtime melts the snow, the rivers overflow. Portage in Maine, 50 below. Portage in Maine, 50 below. Portage in Maine, 50 below.
And so I mentioned on the other side of Winnipeg, Neil Young and the Squires played the zone. I was in the north end of Winnipeg, Wescalonan. I was lucky enough to join a band that evolved and evolved and evolved, and finally we became part of Alan and the Silvertones, who became Chad Allen and the Reflections, until we got a letter from a lawyer that said, you got to change your name. There was a band called the Reflections. Had a hit called Just Like Romeo and Juliet, and we had to change our name. We were named after Cliff Richard and the Shadows, Chad Allen and the Reflections. We played all the Shadows music. Chad Allen had a cousin from England, and this cousin was a girl, and she would get all her girlfriends, and they would tape all their singles and send us every Christmas. The present was a 7.5-inch reel with all their singles taped on it. And we got this great music from England, so we started to play it in all the high schools in Winnipeg. It made us a little different than all the other bands who could only play what they heard on CKY and CKRC, but we had this magical tape from England. Got it every single year. It was fantastic. So on one of these tapes had a song called Shakin' All Over by Johnny Kidd and the Pirates. It had been #1 in England in 1961. We started to play this at all the dances, West Galonan, East Galonan, Daniel Mack, all the high schools, and all of our community centers that we played at, and the kids really liked this song, so we thought we were going to record this song. They had just built CJAY, the TV station down there at Polo Park. We knew the janitor, and we went in Saturday. The janitor was very important. His name was Harvey. I don't remember his last name. But he started to work at midnight. We did a dance at Daniel Mack that night, Saturday night, and went to CJAY at midnight. Gave Harvey $35 to take a 3-hour nap. So from midnight till 3, he went and laid down. We had one microphone. We set up and recorded a song called Shakin' All Over, that Johnny Kidd and the Pirates song. We sent it into our record label. They said, what are you called? They knew we had a cease and desist. We couldn't use the name The Reflections. We tried to use the name The Expressions. We got a letter from another lawyer in Detroit who said, you can't use the name Expressions. I represent a band who's signing with Motown. They're called The Expressions. We didn't have a name. So the record label said, well, we love this song, Shakin' All Over. We want to put it out. They put Shakin' All Over on a white label. Underneath it, they put Guess Who. Then they started the rumor that Guess Who was a bunch of British musicians like Brian Jones and George Harrison. They couldn't put their name on the record because they were signed with different bands to different record labels. This was cut at a party, and Guess Who was playing. So everybody's buying it, trying to guess who's playing. And it's us guys from Winnipeg, Chad Allen and the Expressions, and then we were suddenly called Guess Who. This is how we got our name. We didn't pick this name, stupid name. But it was given to us. In the States, they saw this record hit #1 in Canada in about 3 weeks. It got leased on Scepter Records in the United States and went top 20 in Billboard magazine. We were still all in high school here and going to MIT, which was then later called Red River College. I was going there. And so we're going to continue this story with a little bit of Shakin' All Over.
Down my backbone, I got the shakes in my thigh bone.
Thank you. I used to get on the bus at Salter and Seven Oaks, where I lived, with a 6-cent green bus ticket, ride the bus down to Eaton's, go into Eaton's. Eaton's and Kresge had a record bar, and they had a Billboard magazine. I'd go in there and look and go, wow, Shakin' All Over's 20 this week with a bullet. Shakin' All Over's 18 this week. Didn't realize it meant we could go and earn money in the States. Finally, we got a call from a guy named Paul Cantor, who was hooked up with Scepter Records, who had leased Shakin' All Over in the States, and they were the label it was on. It was now top 20 in Billboard. And he called and he said, you've been invited. I managed Dionne Warwick and the Kingsmen and B.J. Thomas and Chuck Jackson, a whole bunch of people that were all on Scepter Records. And you're being invited to play with the Kingsmen, do a summer tour, the Kingsmen Louie Tour. So there I was cleaning out my locker at MIT. About 2 weeks before final exams. And the head of economics, his name was Berg, Mr. Berg. He came to me and said, gee, you're cleaning out your locker pretty early. The finals are in 2 weeks. And I said, I'm not writing the finals. Got an offer to go and do the Louie tour. Of course, he had never heard of Louie or the Kingsmen. And I said, my dream is, since I was a child, was to play music, and this is an opportunity to go to New York and do this big tour. And he said, well, I believe in following your dreams, and that's really good. I'm proud of you. But you'll be back in a couple of years. I went back 2 years later and asked him to help me with my income tax. I came home from that summer tour, and my dad said to me, well, son, what have you got to say for your rock and roll summer? Because I'd worked for my dad before that. He was an optician, I delivered glasses and things. So this was the first summer I wasn't working for him. So I looked at him and I said, Dad, I've got a new guitar and $40. Isn't that great? And he said, I think you should go back to school. You need something to fall back on. I knew if I had something to fall back on, I'd fall back on it. So I never went back to school. I stayed in music. Somebody who didn't like that tour was Chad Allen. He was the lead singer. Suddenly he wasn't in the name of the band anymore. We weren't Chad Allen and the Expressions or the Reflections. We weren't even Chad Allen and anything. We were the Guess Who. So he came back and he wasn't very happy with that summer. He said, I want to go back to University of Manitoba and you guys can break up or continue without me. I wasn't about to break up because I had quit school. So it was time to follow that dream. And when we left Winnipeg that spring to do the whole Louie tour, the band that was next to us in Winnipeg, because we played all the concerts and all the community centers and all the hockey rinks and all the bingo halls and everything, all the bar mitzvahs and everything, the band that took our throne when we left were called the Deverons. They had a smart aleck punk lead singer named Burton Cummings. When we left town, they got all of our gigs. They were 3 or 4 years younger than us. The girls thought they were cuter. I didn't want to break up the band, so I had a meeting with Jim Cale and Gary Peterson, the other guys, and I said, why don't we steal Burton Cummings from the Deverons? So I called Burton Cummings' mother up one morning, and I said, can you send Burton down to CJAY? This is where we had our little meeting thing, where we recorded Shakin' All Over, and come down to Bob Burns' office, and she kind of knew what it was about. The rumor was around town that we were about to break up or something, and Chad Allen was going back to U of M. And so Burton came down, he walked into CJY, and I said, Burton, you've heard all the rumors that we might be breaking up, that Chad Allen's leaving, but we're sticking together, and there's one thing that's going to help us go forward. And he said, what's that? And I said, I'd like you to join the Guess Who as the lead singer. And he said, sorry, you're too late, the Beatles called me last night, and he walked out of the room. I told you, he was a smart aleck punk. Very talented. And we thought, this guy can sing Oh Danny Boy and House of the Rising Sun and his big hit Blue as the Night with the Deverons. We want him in the band. He's got that voice that can do the screaming and the great ballads. So he stuck his head back around the corner. He said, are you kidding? And I said, I'm not kidding. Are you kidding? Did the Beatles really call you last night? Is something wrong with John Lennon? He said, no, I'm surprised and very honored. You're the best guitar player in town. Gary's the best drummer. For me to join you guys, we would kill as a band. We'd be really great. And you realize it would make the Deverons break up. And I said, yes. We'd get our throne back, right? So a couple of weeks later, Burton ended his gigs with the Devrons. He joined the Guess Who as our lead singer. We thought to really break him in, we would go to Get Out of Winnipeg, because all these little girls were now mad at us because we'd broken up the cutesy-wootsy Devrons, right? And so we thought we'd go and spend part of our summer in Regina, where nobody knew who we were, and get a couple of gigs, and we'd get together as a band, learn how to travel, learn how to work, and learn each other's songs. We had to learn Burton's songs, he had to learn our songs, and maybe we would write something together. So one of our days off in Regina, we heard about this female Gordon Lightfoot. Her name was Joni Mitchell, going to play a gig in Regina. She was brand new and headed to LA. She was just leaving Saskatoon. And we thought, well, we're going to go see her. We have a couple of days off. So we went to the Fourth Dimension. It was these little, you've been in a coffee house, little round tables, little tiny things of coffee. And she's up there doing her folk music. And the whole place was a sellout, except there was one table that was empty. And it had reserve sign on it. So we were sitting there watching Joni play, and halfway through one of her songs, these two really hot-looking babes walked in, a blonde and a brunette, and sat down at the table. And you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe you ladies will. When I saw these two chicks walk in, it was just like, oh, I got to do something. I can't let this moment pass and not try to get to know them or something, or this will never happen again in my life, and I'll be so sad forever. So I approached our road manager, Jim Martin, and I said, Jim, because he had taken out a few girls. To me, he was an experienced guy. Jim, could you go sit at that table? Kind of introduce yourself. There's a blonde and a brunette. And there's like 4 chairs and 2 ladies sitting at it. Sit down next to the blonde. Don't sit near the brunette. Talk to them. Talk to the blonde. Don't talk to the brunette. And if you can get sitting down there, call me over to the table, introduce me to them, and we'll see what happens. But don't talk to the brunette. Their names were Laura Lee and Lorraine. They were sisters. In the middle of Joni's song, he goes over and sits there. Psst, he calls me over. I sit down. I sit at the table. I meet them. My heart's thumping and pounding. He gets called away, and I'm there with the 2 of them for the rest of the night. I ask to take them home. I find out they're sisters. And so I take them home, and I get enough of courage to say to the brunette, can I take you out tomorrow night? I have the night off. And there's a movie playing. And so I'm set to go to her house at like 7 o'clock and pick her up. So I arrive at her house at 7 o'clock, and you guys will know this whole scenario. I'm a little bit early. If you look at my watch now, I'm always 4 or 5 minutes early, and because I don't want to miss any opportunities, whether they're there or not, just in case. So I'm there early, and I'm waiting, and she is, of course, late. So 5 after 7 comes, 10 after 7 comes, quarter after 7 comes. She's not down. I'm in a room with a great big couch, a big potted plant, and a little tiny piano. I sit down at the piano, and I start to play this.
These eyes cry every night for you. These arms long to hold you again. The hurting's on me, yeah, but I will never be free, no, my baby, no, no. You made a promise to me, yeah. You broke it, oh no. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of lives, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of lives, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of lives, but they're never gonna see another one like I had with you.
Thank you. So when I showed that little riff to Burton, we were sat down at his house on Bannerman Avenue. I used to go there every Saturday morning, and we'd show each other little bits of songs and play records we had got. We wrote that song in about 15 minutes and didn't realize how much it would change our lives, which basically is the reason I'm here right now. That song came out and was a million-selling record. Our big thrill in Winnipeg every Saturday morning, you probably did this, was to watch American Bandstand. At 11 o'clock, you see what everyone looked like, who's dancing with who's wearing what, who's got a haircut, and you'd also get to see the bands that you heard on the radio. It's the only place you could see what they looked like. So you'd see everybody on American Bandstand, lip-syncing, but it didn't matter. You got to see what they looked like. So when we got a call to go and be on American Bandstand, which was then in Philadelphia, to meet Dick Clark and to be presented with our gold records for These Eyes and to perform it on American Bandstand was a really big deal for the punks from Winnipeg, really. I think Burton Cummings was 18 when he sang that song. I mean, we were really young kids. He was 18. So we go there, we play on American Bandstand. Dick Clark gives us our gold singles. And then we get invited to New York City, to the head of our record label, which is RCA Records in New York City, to meet the president, whose name is Rocco Laganestra. So it's like meeting Robert De Niro or Marlon Brando in The Godfather or Tony Soprano. This is the guy, right? So we're all sitting at this dinner with Rocco Laganestra, and it's like about 2 in the afternoon, and everybody's there. It's a great big long table, and the food is catered in, and we're sitting there. And Burton Cummings and I are sitting right across from Rocco, and he says, "I want you guys to do me a favor." We say, "Yes, Mr. Laganestra, what would that be?" "Well, as a matter of fact, you'd be doing me a favor, but you'd be doing yourself a real big favor." "Yes, Mr. Laganestra, what would that be?" "I want to nut a song just like These Eyes." The smart aleck punk, Mr. Cummings, says, "No way, we're a rock band, we're not doing another ballad." The whole room gets quiet. No one has ever spoken back to Mr. Laganestra in their lifetime, or else it's the end of their lifetime. You know what I mean? So I think I'll help Burton out on this. So I say, Mr. Laganestra, we're really a rock and roll band. These Eyes was just a ballad we wrote, and we're prairie rockers. We want to rock. We want to have a prairie fire. We want to burn down the world with our rock and roll. And he said, "Radio ain't going to play a rock and roll record by you guys. It's too strange. You need another ballad. I'll make it real easy for you. Lunch is over. Go back to Winnipeg. Do not come back to New York till you write another song just like These Eyes." End of lunch. He walks out of the room. Everybody leaves the room. We're sitting there alone. We come back to Winnipeg. To try to write another song, These Eyes, you saw how that happened. Just me sitting down, noodling at a piano and a couple of great jazz chords that I learned from Lenny Bro. It's very hard to write another song. So we're sitting in Winnipeg with nothing much to do. And I thought, since I've given Burton the gift of being able to go on stage and go boom, boom, and everyone go crazy at the start of this hit, I'm giving myself a gift. I'm going to start a song like the Bee Gees, this New York mining disaster. So when I start it, everyone will go, and it'll be a hit, right? So with this in mind, which is a very melancholy chord, it's an A minor chord. I think I'm going to make this chord happier. I'm going to add one finger and one note. Listen how happy this gets. Pretty happy. Roy Orbison had a song called Crying, so I say to Burton Cummings, let's write a song called Laughing, and here's how it went.
I should laugh, but I cry because you love has passed me by. You took me by surprise. You didn't realize that I was waiting. Time goes slowly, but carries on, and now the best years have come and gone. You took me by surprise. I didn't realize that you were laughing, laughing, you doing it to me, laughing the way it should be. You took away everything I had, you put the hurt on me, laughing, you doing it to me, laughing the way it should be. You took away everything I had, you put the hurt on me. I go along now, calling your name after losing the game. You took me by surprise. I didn't realize that you were laughing. Time goes slowly, but carries on. And now the best years are coming gone. You took me by surprise. I didn't realize that you were laughing. Laughing, doing it to me. Laughing, ain't the way it should be. You took away everything I had, you put the hurt on me. Laughing, you're doing it to me. Laughing, ain't the way it should be. You took away everything I had, you put the hurt on me.
Thank you very much. So there we were. We gave Rocco another ballad. He was very happy. Growing up in Winnipeg, there was a lot of great DJs in town that helped us out. Doc Steen was one. Bob Burns was another PJ, the DJ. You might remember all these guys. Dennis, Dino, Corey. Some of them are still on TV. Bernie, the wild man Pascal, is still the weather guy in BC and on the television. And these guys would come to all the dances and give away records to the kids and introduce us as we played. It was really quite fantastic. One of them, his name was Daryl Burlingham, and on the radio he was called Daryl B. So Daryl B had left Winnipeg. He was now in Vancouver. So Daryl B called us up and he said, you know, all the kids in Vancouver know who you are. They see you every Thursday on TV. I'm playing some of your records here. They know what it is. So I have this show. You guys can come and open this show. The headliners are Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. The next is Alice Cooper, who we thought was a girl. So we went there. And then you guys will open, the Guess Who will open. The great thing about this tour is it's in Vancouver, and then it's in Seattle, and then it goes to Portland, and then San Francisco. So we want to get to California and see a surfer, and we also want to see what's called a hippie, a real hippie. There had been pictures of hippies on Rolling Stone magazine, Life, Newsweek, and things like that. We wanted to see a real hippie. So this tour plays Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco. We do our gigs. It's all really great. The next day I go down to a corner of Haight-Ashbury where you hear that all this action is going. They had the picture of that intersection in Rolling Stone magazine. I go down there after I gig the next morning. There's nobody there. I go into a store and I say, I'm here to see a hippie. And the guy says, it's 10 o'clock. Monday morning, hippies are asleep. There was a big party here last night, and on Saturday, you got to come back on the weekends. They have a big stage. Janis Joplin plays, Big Brother plays, the Moby Grape plays, everybody, Quicksilver, they all come and play there, and it's really great, and it's a big love-in. And I said, well, I'm from Canada. We're going back to Canada. I can't wait for the weekend. How do I see a hippie? He said, well, you got to go down to University of Southern California, go over the bridge to Berkeley. Telegraph Avenue goes right down to this university. That's where you'll see it. So we get in our car, we drive over the bridge to Berkeley. It's there. Bare-chested guys with a peace sign, guitar, singing, if you're going to San Francisco, wear some flowers in your hair. Beautiful girls with flowers in their hair, and they're all dropping out of school, they're all dropping out of jobs, and they're protesting the war, which Vietnam War has gone, and Richard Nixon is full tilt into this war. And we get the whole vibe of the love and peace and harmony kind of thing. I buy a bunch of records, and they're too heavy to carry around. Remember vinyl? Carrying around about 12 vinyl albums, and I think I'm going to put these in the trunk of my car. So I tell the band to wait, and I walk around the corner to get to the trunk of my car to put these records in and come back and join the band. As I leave Telegraph Avenue, I see our car is about a block away. I'm headed towards it. There's these three guys coming towards me down the street. They're about this wide. I mean, each of them. One's black, one's kind of Mexican looking, one's white. They've got on leather jackets, bare arms, tattoos, bulgy biceps, chains, bandanas. They're looking at me like, we are going to eat you alive. But I got an armful of records, so I figured, well, I'm just going to go and pretend I'm looking in the window here, and they're going to walk by me. Because this is a big double-wide street, double-wide sidewalk, so they're coming down the middle of the street, and it's like the gunfight at the OK Corral. As they're walking down there, people are leaving the street and closing the doors, and this looks like a cowboy movie. And I'm at the end of the street. So I go over and I'm over at this side of the street and I'm looking in the window, pretending I'm window shopping. It's women's lingerie, but I'm just pretending I'm window shopping. And then I noticed they come from the center of the street, they've come to my side of the street, and they're still walking towards you, they're getting closer and closer, and I figured, I gotta avoid this at all costs. So I'm just gonna pretend nonchalantly that I'm going to window shop the other side of the street. So I nonchalantly turn around like Charlie Brown, and I walk across whistling to try to, I'm not afraid, walk across to this window, and I notice they come to my side of the street. They're about from here to the front row away, and they've got that thing like, we don't care about your little red maple leaf. We're gonna eat you alive. Suddenly, down this empty street, a little brown car comes roaring down the street. It's got a blue door, the bumper's hanging off, it's held on with a coat hanger, the back window's all smashed, it's all scotch taped up and everything. This car, these three guys look around and see this car. Two of them leave. The black guy and the white guy leave. And they're no longer a big macho gang. They're no longer a biker gang, and I'm no longer a solo Canadian. There's just one guy standing there. The door opens, this little 5-foot-tall woman gets out of the car and starts yelling at this guy. And he looks at me and goes like this. And she says, "You're nothing but a no-good bum. I see you here with your buddies, checking out all the college chicks on Telegraph Avenue. You're supposed to be looking for a job. You didn't take out the garbage when you left. You leave me at home with the kids, get in the car." The guy looks at me and shrugs. He gets in the car, she slams the door and says, "Furthermore, baby, when you get home, you ain't getting no sugar tonight."
Lonely feeling deep inside. Find a corner where I can hide. Solid footsteps crowding me. Sudden darkness, but I can see. No sugar tonight in my coffee. No sugar tonight in my tea. No sugar to stand beside me. No sugar to run with me. In the silence of my mind, quiet movement where I can find. She's grabbing for me with her eyes. Now I'm falling for the skies. No sugar tonight in my coffee. No sugar tonight in my tea. No sugar to stand beside me. No sugar to run with me. Da-da-da-down, da-da-down, da-da-da-down. Da-da-da-down, da-da-down. No sugar tonight.
Thank you. So when we left Winnipeg on that Louie tour, the last guy to say goodbye was Mr. Neil Young, and when we came back, the first guy to say hello was Mr. Neil Young. He said, "What's it like out of Winnipeg?" And I said, "You got to get out of town." He did, so I'm totally responsible for his success to this day. He did the inevitable. He went and played the 4D in Regina, 4D here, 4D in Thunder Bay, met Stephen Stills, went and played the Thunderbird, went to LA, started Buffalo Springfield. That time goes by, another Buffalo Springfield album, Neil sends it to me, and my name is on the back as a dedication. So Burton Cummings and I, and we see this in Kresge's or Woolworth's downtown at the record store. So we have to chip in, Burton and I, to buy this album. It's $3.95, we have to chip in. This is how much money we were making in those days. So we buy this album called Buffalo Springfield again, we take it back to Burton's place, we're listening to it. And with all the stuff Lenny Bro taught me, the 4 or 5 Chet Atkins albums, and Merle Travis, and then Barney Kessel, and then all the Chuck Berry and Shadows, and everything that I'm learning in between, and the Ventures and everything, Stephen Stills plays a lick on Buffalo Springfield again I've never heard before. And I say to Burton, in honor of this lick, let's steal a song. Because the art of songwriting is the art of plagiarism. And if you get caught, you're a thief. If you're not, you're a great songwriter. I mean, everything recycles. Fashion, if you watch these runway shows, it's like stuff from the 60s and 70s, and you've got it in your closet, and your kids are going nuts over it, or your grandkids, and you say, I've got pants like that, I've got a jacket like that. It's the same with music. It's all kind of recycling it and giving it your own little shtick and your own little taste. So Bert and I are going to use one of the Stephen Stills songs as a template. And when we were in San Francisco and saw that hippie with the peace sign, the chicks with the flowers in their hair, on the street, we saw these two guys, two opposite guys. The guy with the blonde hair and the peace sign on his chest was there singing, "If you're going to San Francisco, wear some flowers in your hair." And down the street, coming to meet him, to greet him, was a guy totally head shaven and clean shaven. And they embraced each other, and he said, "Where you been, man?" He said, "I've been to the killing floor. It's terrible. I'm on leave. I've got to go back in a couple of days. I'm thinking of going up to Canada." And the guy with the blonde hair said, "You know, I'm going to turn 18. They're going to draft me too. I think I'll come to Canada with you." They look at me and Burton wearing our little red Maple Leafs, and they go, "You guys are from Canada? You're the lucky guys." And then they, "See you, man. Meet me here, meet me there. We'll go up to Canada together." So Burton and I went to this blonde guy and said, "What does the killing floor mean?" Because, "Where have you been?" "I've been at the killing floor." He said, "That means Vietnam. It's the jungle. They draft you at 18. You're in the jungle fighting. We don't know who we're fighting. We don't know what we're fighting for. We're being slaughtered over there. It's the killing floor." And Bert and I went, "Oh my God, that's terrible." So over the years, people have asked me, in this song, it's called "No Time," what does "no time for the killing floor" mean? This is what it means. We wrote the song to copy Stephen Stills. It's called "No Time." On vocals. Thank you. A big hand for Daryl here. Something breaks, he fixes it. It's a luxury to have a guy like him, because in the old days we didn't have them. We did all our own stuff, and if something broke, it was the end of the show. So there we were on the charts. Rock and roll, country style, country rock, just like Buffalo Springfield. We were thrilled with that, Burton Cummings and I. On one of our trips out of Winnipeg, we'd always wait to get gas in the States. In Emerson, we'd cross at Emerson and Noyes, and gas then was much cheaper. We're filling up a bus usually, which is like 80 or 90 or 100 gallons, so it was cheaper in the States. But this guy always got a real thrill out of saying, "Well, Sonny, where are you guys going this time?" And I'd say something like, "Well, we're going to Boston to play a pop festival with Joan Baez and Richie Havens and something." And he'd go, "And where are you going after that?" "Well, we're coming home. We have one gig." "You're going all the way to Boston for one gig?" "Yeah, isn't that great?" "Well, how much are you getting?" $400. That was kind of our fee in those days. There was 4 of us, and we got $100 each. The gas was $500. The next trip, where you guys going? We're going to San Francisco to play with, Janis Joplin and Frank Zappa and stuff like that. And this particular trip, he said, where are you guys going now? I said, we're going to Tyler, Texas to play a Valentine's Day dance. It was February, it was freezing here. And he said, you're going to Tyler, Texas? I said, yeah, it's right below Winnipeg. How much are you getting? $400. I said, but when we crossed the border, the guy at the border said, we got to go somewhere else first. He said, to go into this building, it's a white building, it's some sort of service building, and I wasn't quite sure what he said, because he had a southern accent, and he kept calling me boy. Go in that building over there, boy. If you know what's good for you, go in that building, boy. And he said, did he happen to say selective service? And I said, maybe. It's a white building with a flag. He said, yeah, that's the selective service building. Do you know what that is? And I said, not really. He said, it's the draft board. When you crossed the border, did you show them, what do you got? I said, we got green cards, which was called a resident alien card. And we were very proud to have these cards, because it meant you could work in the States without having to get a work permit every time you did a gig. And he said, well, that green card means you can live in the States, work in the States, pay tax in the States, be drafted by the States, and die for the States. I went, you're kidding. And he said, no, they drafted my son a year ago. He got killed 4 months later in Vietnam. They just drafted my nephew. He turned 18. They've taken him away in handcuffs. He's in boot camp. We're probably going to lose him as well. Do yourselves a favor. Don't go into that selective service building. You're healthy Canadians. You're 18, 19, 20 years of age. They will draft you. You got the green cards. You'll be in a jungle in a month fighting for who knows what. Don't go in there. Do yourself a favor. Pretend you're going into this little town. Turn left here. Drive slowly. Don't try to go back over the border. They'll stop you. Don't go to Tyler, Texas. Just turn here, pretend you're going to this little town, and keep going. And then you'll see this other freeway that goes north, and turn left there and go up through Duluth, back to Canada, turn in your green cards, be grateful that you're back in Canada, and don't come back to the States till the Vietnam War is over. We didn't go to Tyler, Texas. We turned left, went through the town, went to the little freeway that goes north up through Minnesota, went through Duluth up to Canada. Found myself in Ontario on a Saturday morning. No money, no gig. Called an agent in Toronto and said, hi, this is Randy Bachman of the Guess Who, and we're looking for work in the Toronto area. Do you have anything going on? He said, we got lots going on. When do you need work? I said, tonight. He said, this is amazing. This is like 11 o'clock Saturday morning. He said, we just got a call from a band called Little Caesar and the Consuls. Someone's got laryngitis. They can't do a gig tonight. Can you get to Kitchener-Waterloo and play this gig? I said, how much does it pay? He said, $400. I said, we're in, we'll go there. What is this? He said, well, it's a curling rink. It's called the Glen Friars Curling Arena. And you just go there. It's a 3-hour dance, and you'll get your $400. I said, fabulous. So we show up at this Glen Friars Curling Arena, and it's a true Canadian dance. It's February, it is freezing. There's ice, it's a curling rink. There's plywood on the ice so you won't wreck the ice, and everybody's there in their parkas and rubber boots and all this other stuff. And it's a dance. I introduce you to Daryl because at this particular dance we're playing 3 hours. There's no Daryl. There's not this magical thing here where I go like this, and a green light comes on showing me that string is in tune, and if it's red, it's out of tune. I keep tuning it till it turns green. I have no Daryl. I have no spare guitar. I have no tuner. In the middle of this evening, on a guitar just like this, a 59 Les Paul, which is like the rock and roll guitar, with this thing on it called the Bigsby, which does this. Kind of vibratos and shakes the strings. I break a string. So if you look at this, you've got to put a string and wind it around here. It's got to go down here. It's got to go over this bridge, under this bar, over that bar, and onto this little nipple or this little pin there, because the strings have a little hole in the end like a lasso, and you've got to put it there. And I'm on stage, and I don't have a tech, so I have to do this myself. So Burton realizes this is rocket science. And he says, we've got to take a break. Randy broke a string, so talk amongst yourself, and when he fixes his guitar, we'll resume the dance. So everybody's there talking at the dance. The rest of the band are mixing with the audience. It's a beautiful full moon in February. Have you ever been in Winnipeg, Ontario, full moon? You can almost read a book outside. The moon reflects off the snow, and it's beautiful bluish silver thing, and you can just see without headlights or any lights. It's amazing. So I'm on stage and I'm tuning. I don't have a tuner, so I'm on my knees in front of Burton's piano, which was always on that side of me. So I'm on my knees there in the dark, hitting notes on his piano. And I'm turning my string up. I just put on a new string. See, I take this opportunity to really tune up. This is what I was really doing. Exactly. I'm on my knees in front of the piano. I start to play that riff. The audience head snaps around and I go, oh my God, I've got to keep playing this or I'll forget it. Because you'll forget it. I can't write music. I can't remember this. It's the essence of rock and roll. So I stand up and I'm going. And I look into the audience and I see Gary Peterson, our drummer, and I go like this, and he comes on stage and he starts to play. He realizes I'm jamming this thing out. Jim Cale comes on stage, the bass player. We're looking for Burton. We can't find Burton. I'm looking amongst the crowd like, where is he? I see the back door, the curling arena is open. Burton's out in the parking lot buying something out of a guy's trunk. He said it was a comic book, but I don't think they come in bags that small. So somebody must have said to Burton, why aren't you on stage with the band? Because Burton didn't recognize this riff. Because they played records at, when we took a break at these things. So we're playing this riff. Burton runs on stage and goes, wow, that's amazing. What are you doing? I said, play a solo. So he did a harmonica solo, flute solo, piano solo, and I don't want to forget this riff. Now, when you're writing a song, the way to remember a riff is to remember it with something silly. Right? No matter how silly it is, that'll help you remember the riff, because we don't have a tape recorder. I can't write music. I don't even know what I'm playing. It's just that this riff is an essence of rock and roll. So with this in mind, I yell out to Burton, sing something, sing anything, because I know whatever he sings, it'll help me remember that riff. So with this a riff that's this forceful, you can't exactly go, woke up this morning, or I think I love you. You got to yell something. And he yelled, American woman, stay away from me. American woman, let me be. American woman, stay away from me. The crowd went nuts. We remembered the riff. We did that over and over and over. We recorded a couple of weeks later. Rocco was right. If that would have come out after These Eyes, nothing would have happened. We had These Eyes, Laughing, Undone, No Time. American Woman came out and went to #1 in the world, USA, the album and single, before the DJs in America realized it was an anti-war protest song sung by 4 Canadians, because the American woman was not the woman on the street. It was the Statue of Liberty, the Uncle Sam Wants You poster, and the Vietnam War. your seatbelts. We are rolling down the highway. So after that American Woman hit number one, I left the band, the Guess Who. It was a new period in my life. Started a band called Brave Belt. Couldn't get to first base in Winnipeg. It wasn't easy leaving the Guess Who when they were number one, believe me. And found myself with doing a country album with the help of Neil Young. Got us a deal with Reprise Records. Brave Belt 1 went nowhere. Brave Belt 2 went nowhere. Brave Belt 3 came out, and Reprise Records decided to drop our band. We had reached what's called the bottom line. So I had Brave Belt 3. My brother Gary and I were trying to get this thing sold, and nobody was buying it. Nobody was biting. By my telephone, I lived on Scotia Avenue at the time. By my telephone, I had 26 refusals in a year from 26 different record labels. And I remember having a meeting with the band and saying, I can't pay you guys a salary anymore. It's the end of the band. I had a little bit of money from the Guess Who, and I knew I had to do something else. And nobody in Winnipeg was booking Brave Belt. They were all fans of the Guess Who. And I wasn't in the Guess Who anymore. So we had a couple of offers to go here, there, and everywhere across Canada. We ended up going to Vancouver. And got very lucky that I got a phone call one day after I told everybody we were going to be breaking up. Got a phone call from a guy named Charlie Fash. And he was the head of Mercury Records in Chicago. And I could hear in the background, "Give Me Your Money, Please," which was side one, cut one, of Brave Belt 3 that I had sent him. He said, "Is the whole album like this?" I said, "Yeah," because he's playing side one, cut. He was on tape then, so he got 2 7.5-inch reel tapes. And he said, "I'm going to play this whole album, and if it's really good, I'll get you a deal." He got us a deal. He said, "You got to change your name. You can't be Brave Belt anymore. You've got a new music. You've evolved to playing rock and roll, away from this country stuff, and you need another name." So you started to use Bachman and Turner, because Fred Turner had joined the band at that point, another Winnipeg guy. And people thought we were like, yeah, it's all about Winnipeg. And I had known Fred since he was 14 or 15, and his big thing was he sang House of the Rising Sun. And I said to my brother Gary once, "I've got a deal with Reprise. We got to get Fred in the band. We need another guy. Go find Fred Turner." Gary went and found him. We made a deal and signed up. So we're getting going. We're getting rolling. We decide we get the name Overdrive from a trucker's magazine. On one of our wonderful trips out of Winnipeg, at the same gas station, where the guy says, "Well, where are you going this time? Where's your bus?" Because the Guess Who bus is gone. I'm not in the Guess Who. We're driving like in a station wagon. So we're driving down. I said, "Oh, we're going to New Orleans. We'll go down to Mardi Gras. We're playing Mardi Gras in New Orleans." The guy says, "Great." So we get on the freeway, and I'm driving the car. And then the speed limit was 65, which meant you could kind of go sneak around 70, and they wouldn't stop you. So we're headed down to New Orleans, and in front of me on the freeway pulls a semi-trailer. Pulls right in front of us. So I'm about to pass him. Then the semi-trailer pulls up beside me. They kind of have me blocked in. So I'm about to fall back, and then another one pulls in behind me. Our license plate says, "Friendly Manitoba." These three guys have us boxed in. They decide to go about 35 miles an hour to see how friendly the friendly Manitobans are. So finally, one of them takes an exit. This goes on for like an hour and a half. We can't get out of this little box on the freeway. They won't let us out. One of them takes an exit, so we need gas, so we're going to take an exit as well. Fred Turner and I are the big guys in BTO. We're going to have an aggressive word with this truck driver, because him and his buddies were talking to each other on the CBs and laughing and playing this trick on us. So truckers are usually big guys. But when this guy got out of his truck, he looked like a refrigerator with a head stuck on top. Fred Turner and I decided we wouldn't be as aggressive as we thought we were going to be. We looked up at this guy and said, "Excuse me, sir." This guy's like 6'6". "Excuse me, sir. You're driving very carelessly, and you had us boxed in there." And he said, "Oh, we're just testing you friendly Manitobans and you really nice Canadians to see how nice you are. It's no big deal. Why don't you just let it ride?" Thank you very much. Well, I mentioned earlier I was the oldest of 4 boys, and we had a great time playing pranks and tricks on each other, and we teased each other a lot, and I had a brother who I dearly loved, who I used to tease, and we would play great games called Gotcha Last. We'd be asleep. I would think we were asleep, and then he would touch my knee and go, "Gotcha last." And then I'd have to wait till I thought he was asleep, and then I would touch him. We were on bunk beds. "Gotcha last." So we played this game and all these kind of games. I think on my deathbed, I'll just lean up when he's there and say, "Gotcha last," and then I'll pass away and I'll win. That's not the kind of game I want to win, but just being funny. So we teased each other a lot, and this brother of mine stuttered, which really helped me a lot with Lenny Bro, because Lenny Bro had a similar problem with stuttering and stammering. So it was really helpful for me to get to know Lenny Bro and speak with him and understand him as a really great person. So as I mentioned, we couldn't get a lot of gigs in Winnipeg. We left and went to Vancouver. This brother couldn't come with us. He had a job in Winnipeg, and so I was like alone with the band in Vancouver. We were starting to make it really big. By really big, I mean getting a record deal with Charlie Fatch, who called us and said he was going to take the BTO album and all that kind of stuff. And we were going to a studio to record, and I produced the band, BTO, because we couldn't get anyone to produce us or work with us. I was still kind of still an outlaw from having left the Guess Who. And so I was doing everything on my own. And I'd go into a studio with 8 songs. Then you had vinyl. You had 4 songs on the side. It was classic rock, so each song was like 4 minutes and change, 4.5 minutes long. So I'm working with these 8 songs, and I have one song that's a work song. By a work song, I mean it's a song that you don't really care about. It's a bunch of mishmash of nothings, but it has a light part and a heavy part. So when you're in the studio, you record this, and I say, "Gee, let's change the bass mic, let's change the bass amp, let's change the guitar, let's move the drum mics," and you use it to get a sound on everything. And then when you got your sound, you put that work track aside, and you proceed to record your 8 songs for your album. Classic rock then was basically 8 songs aside. So I take this work track, and before I throw it away, I think I'm going to play the ultimate trick on my brother, and I'm going to sing this once, and it's not even really a song. I'm just going to goof around, I'm going to stutter, and send it to him and say, "Na na 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 na, gotcha last." This is the ultimate trick. This is going to be on an album. And I do the song and I put it aside. I'm going to mix one version, a cassette, and send it to my brother. We do the album. Charlie Fatch, who's the head of Mercury Records, flies in to hear the album. The album opens with the song we opened the set with, "Roll On Down the Highway." He goes, "Well, great track, but it's not going to get you on top 40 radio." So he hears the whole album through, and he says, "I don't hear a top 40 song on this album." And the engineer pokes me and Charlie, and he says, "There's one more song. Play him the work track." And I go, "No, it's terrible, it's embarrassing, I'm singing off key, the guitar's not in tune, I don't even know what the song is about." Charlie says, "Play me the song." We play him the song, he jumps off his stool, he says, "That's a #1 record." I said, "Charlie, you're out of your mind." He says, "No, I'm not. I discovered Tennessee Waltz for Patti Page." Do you remember that? I discovered "Hey Baby" for Bruce Chanel. I discovered "Maggie May" for Rod Stewart. These are their career songs. Believe me, you'll be singing this song every day for the rest of your life. I wanted to put it on the album. So we played him the track again. He loved it. Put it on the album. He released it as a single and went to #1 in 22 countries. Sold millions of copies and proved to me I knew nothing about the record business. So this next story is my favorite. I find it hard to believe every time I tell it. It's a whole bunch. You can see my life as a series of things that happened or accidents that I've learned to sit back and let happen and see where they take me and where they go. So this begins way back in that summer of 1965, the Louie Louie tour. I go to New York City, and we were recording at Scepter Studios. Florence Greenberg's son was the engineer. His name was Stanley Greenberg. I was amazed because Stanley Greenberg was blind. He sat there at a little desk by being a mixing console, and turned the knobs, and obviously had great ears, and mixed the sound for Ashford and Simpson, for Burt Bacharach, for Dionne Warwick's demos, for us who did our album there. And I was very intrigued by this guy. I thought it was amazing. Somebody else would set up the mics for him, but he would go in and tweak all the sounds. He came to work every day. So this is New York, it's August, right? It's like 98 above and high humidity. Stanley comes to work every day in a white collar, buttoned down with a tweed tie, a tweed jacket with the patches on the elbows, pleated pants, these brogue shoes, like with little designs on these Oxfords. But every day, Stanley has to leave the studio at about 10 at night. And if you look at your watch now, it's like 10:30. This is when musicians come alive, 8, 9, 10 at night. We work when you're out having fun, and we're entertaining you at a nightclub or a dance or whatever. And so we just get rolling in the studio 8 or 9 at night, and Stanley has to leave at 10. And I said, where do you go every night? He said, well, I go home, but I take a train home. You take a train? Wow, like where do you get a train? Grand Central Station. It's like when you're from Winnipeg, you take a train to Regina, not to work. He takes a train to work. So I've only seen this in movies. So I say, Stanley, can I come with you? And he says, sure. And I say, so how do you get to Grand Central Station? He said, well, I have a white cane. I walk and I count steps. And I go, that's amazing. So I go with him. And he says, don't take my arm. Just leave me on my own, because you tend to want to help somebody like that. Just leave me on my own. So I walk with him, and he counts. He goes out of Scepter Studios. He counts like 750 steps this way. Then he turns right and he counts 300 steps, and we end up at Grand Central Station, which if you're from Winnipeg is amazing. You've seen it in all the movies. A beautiful building that's a lot like this. Old Art Deco, beautiful and incredible building. And I say to him, I wanted to see how you get to and from work, but there's nobody on the streets, and there's no traffic on the streets. There's no crowds of people. I'd like, what do you do when you come in the morning? He said, well, so come and meet me in the morning. I said, so when do you come in? He said, I take the 8:15 into the city. So I write this little song called White Collar Worker for Stanley. You might recognize the lyrics. They get up in the morning from the alarm clock's warning, take the 8:15 into the city. There's a whistle up above and people pushing, people shoving, and the girls who try to look pretty. And if your train's on time, you can get to work by 9 and start your slaving job to get your pay. If you ever get annoyed, look at me, I'm self-employed, and I'll have to work at nothing all day. Then it went, white collar worker, to be just like paperback writer, paperback writer. I played that for Burton Cummings, who said, gag me with a drumstick. We will never do that song. We'll get sued by Lennon and McCartney. So that song never appeared on a Guess Who album. It never appeared on Wheatfield Soul, Canned Wheat, or American Woman. I played it for Brave Belt. It never appeared on Brave Belt 1, Brave Belt 2. We changed the name to Bachman Toronto Drive. It doesn't appear on that album. But I love those lyrics. And everybody has said to me, Fred Turner, Burton Cummings, your verses are great. You need to get rid of and lose the white collar worker thing. That's the dead copy of the Beatles' Paperback Writer. I have a heart, which we all do, and there's a little shelf next to it, and I put a few of my favorite things there. So the lyrics to White Collar Worker, I don't really know this. The lyrics go there in my memory bank of a few of my favorite things next to my favorite things on my little shelf by my heart. Fast forward many years, like 5, 6, 7 years. BTO's on the road. We're starting to make some money, but we're just breaking even. This is in North Vancouver. Daryl B's on the radio, the guy who invited us to the very first Frank Zappa and Alice Cooper show to be the opening act. Daryl B's on the radio, and he said, this is Daryl B on Sci-Fi radio, and we're taking care of business. And I go, and he plays a Beach Boys song. And I go, what a great title for a song. I got to remember that. I got to remember that. Just like the riff in American Woman. I'm singing it over and over. Taking care of business, taking care of business, taking care of business, taking care of business. Because there's different accents you can put on words that gives you a rhythm to remember it. And so I searched for my songwriting kit, which I keep in my car. You might have one. It's a white McDonald's napkin and a smashed crayon. I write down all my song ideas on an old Wendy's or McDonald's napkin. I write down taking care of business. And I'm driving over the bridge, and I don't realize that when I write this down, it goes on the shelf next to my heart of a few of my favorite. It goes right next to the lyrics of White Collar Work. And I don't realize this at the time. It's in my memory bank. And I get to the gig. We do our first 4 sets. And the last set of the night, Fred Turner comes and says, I can't sing anymore. I lost my voice. You got to sing the last set. On the radio at the time, my friend Carlos Santana had a song called Oye Como Va. I have no idea what that means. We had never played the song, but it's 2 chords. How tough is it? I don't know any Spanish. I figured nobody in North Vancouver knows any Spanish. My mother's Ukrainian, I'm from the North End. I'll wing it. I say to the band, 2 chords. So I sing, Oye, como va? Pierogies, bueno, vamos a. Oye, como va? Halapchi, bueno, vamos a. And everyone is up dancing. And the club owner's going, okay, yes, they're buying drinks, they're dancing. We played that song for 20 minutes. Because if you stop playing it, they stop dancing. That's that old high school dance. You wait for the first couple to get up and dance, and everybody says it's okay to dance, but that first moment, that it seems like hours of silence or no one's on the dance floor, is terrible. I can't let them sit down. So in the middle of Carlos Santana's greatest guitar riffs that I'm playing, I'm thinking ahead, what can I do next? We haven't rehearsed any songs. I don't know any songs. We're making up Oye Como Va. It's going along with Ukrainian words and food items and things like that. And a little light goes on in the side of my head. This is your chance for White Collar Worker. The band is your hostage. They're on stage. They cannot say no. The audience is your witnesses. This is your moment. So I turn around and say to the band, 3 chords, follow me, and I start to play. And I sing the same lyrics, but it's kind of different. They get up in the morning from the alarm clock's warning, take the 8:15 into the city. There's a whistle up above and people pushing, people shoving, and the girls who try to look pretty. And if your train's on time, you can get to work by 9 and start your slaving job to get your pay. If you ever get annoyed, look at me, I'm self-employed. I love to work at nothing all day. And I normally went, white collar worker. Except I just kept it going, and the band joined me, and miraculously, I don't know how I answered them, taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. Taking care of business. It's all mine. Taking care of business. And I've been working overtime, workout. We finished the night with that song. We played it 25 minutes. The audience loved it. We would stop the song. They sensed that thing on stage that the audience sensed years before when I wrote American Woman on stage. It's a thing that comes out of nowhere. It hits you like a lightning bolt. They could feel, and I didn't know what I was doing. So when you don't know what you're doing, you can do amazing things. There's no when you don't know what you're doing. You just go crazy. So I put these pieces together, and this song gets written on stage. The audience feels the electricity. We stop playing the song. They keep it going, taking care of business. And it just goes on, and the whole night's a big success. And the club owner is going like this, and we get paid, which is wonderful. So we go to record it a couple of weeks later. We go to the studio in Seattle. So I go in and I record Taking Care of Business. I sing it once because it's a throwaway song. We recorded we normally would do 2 songs a day. This is the 3rd song. We throw it on. It's at midnight. We do the song in an hour. We're about to pack up and leave. It's like 1:10 in the morning. There's a knock at the door of the studio. I open the studio. There's a guy standing there. He's about 6'6". He has an army suit on, an army hat, like a fatigue, big black frizzy hair and black frizzy beard, and he's standing there with 3 pizzas. And he says, "Did you order pizzas?" And I say, "No." Try down the hall. Steve Miller's in there. Steve Miller's doing his Fly Like an Eagle album, and War is down there. They're doing their Why Can't We Be Friends album. Ask for Jerry in the War thing, or Steve in there. And he goes down the hall. He comes back a few minutes later. We're putting on our coats. It's kind of winter time. We're about to leave and go back to our hotel room. I open the door, and the same guy's standing there without the pizzas. And I say, "Yes, can I help you?" He's standing there, and he says, "Well, I've been listening to this song for like 15 minutes outside the studio, and I'm not really a pizza delivery guy all the time. I'm a piano player. This song sounds like it could really use a piano. And would you give me a break and let me play piano on this?" And I said, "Well, I would really like to have Little Richard or Elton John or Dr. John, but they're like probably somewhere having a party right now going out of their minds. So I'll give you a shot. Like, who am I not to give the guy a shot?" There's not even a piano in the studio. There's one in the hallway. So I open the lid, throw in the mic, cover it up, say, "Play your piano track." We don't even listen to it back. We go home. It's like now 2 in the morning. He leaves and finishes his pizza deliveries. Charlie, who signed us to the label, who always comes in, he's the guy who picked You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet as a single, comes in, he says, "Okay, let's hear the album." And he's been saying to me, "Write more commercial stuff. We want to get you on top 40 radio. Besides all the albums you're selling, we need something that's top 40. So I say to the engineer, "When you play Taking Care of Business, do not play the piano track, because we are 2 guitars, bass, and drums." Every band in the 70s, Frampton, ZZ Top, Doobie Brothers, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Allman Brothers, was like basically guitar, bass, and drums. So I say to the engineer, "Do not play the piano track." Halfway through the song, he pushes up the volume, and in comes the piano. Charlie Fatch, who's the president of the label, jumps off his chair and goes, "What is that? BTO with the piano, that is amazing. Elton John owns AM radio. This will get you some of the Elton John thing. This will get you on top 40 radio. This song is phenomenal. Let me hear the whole song." Because the engineer pushed it up halfway through. We back up the tape, play him the whole song. He listens to the song. He goes, "That is amazing. Who's playing the piano?" And I say, "A pizza delivery guy." And he says to me, "Seriously? All kidding aside, who's playing the piano?" I said, "Charlie, seriously? A guy brought pizza here last night. He asked to play piano. He asked to give him a break. I gave him a break. I have no idea who he is." He says, "We have to find out who he is. He's got to be in the union. We got to give him credit. This can't come on. This is going to be all over the radio. You're going to get some of Elton John's airplay." So I go down the hall, I knock on the door to Steve Miller, and I say, "Steve-O, where did you get the pizza from last night?" He said, "We didn't get pizza last night. We had Chinese, so try Jerry next door at War." So I go into the War studios. I part my way through the curtain of smoke. I asked Jerry where they got the pizza from the night before. They can't even remember the night before. He throws me a yellow page. He says, "Yeah, we got pizza, but a wonderful thing happens in the studio. Musicians show up at 11 or 12. You bring in a sandwich, or later on you order pizza or Chinese food, and when you go home at 2 or 3 in the morning, somebody cleans up. So you come back to a new studio the next day, you start over. There's not a trace of where the pizza came from that night before." So Jerry throws me a yellow page and says, "Good luck." So I get a yellow pages, give one to the lady at the front desk at the studio, and say, "Could you start in the restaurants, at Antonio's, Italian restaurants, and I'll start at Mario's. Phone each one and say, did anybody there deliver pizza here last night? And do you have a delivery boy that looks like Fidel Castro?" He had this army thing and the big beard. I had no other way to describe this guy. So after about 4 or 5 phone calls, I finally get a guy who says, "Yeah, we have a guy that looks like that. Can you tell me his name?" "No, we can't. We can't give employees' names out over the phone. But would you like to order a pizza?" "Yes, I'll order a pizza." "When does he start?" 6 o'clock. "Please send a pizza. But I want it to be brought by the guy that looks like Fidel Castro. Don't send anybody else. Wait till this guy comes in." 20 after 6, the guy walks in, the same army suit on, the same frizzy beard. His name was Norman Durkee. That's the piano you hear on Taking Care of Business. He was in the union. He was a piano player. That was a good break for him. He went on to become Bette Midler's music director on her first North American tour. And when I was lucky enough to play with Ringo Starr's All-Star Band in 1995, along with John Entwistle, Mark Farner, Felix Cavalier, Billy Preston, Ringo Starr, and his son, Zach Starkey, we ended the tour playing in LA. at the Greek Theatre, and the piano at the front row for the LA Philharmonic was Norman Durkee. That's the story. You want to stand up and join me? We're going to take care of some business.
circle game has brought me here, and I won't let down till every sun is set. You realize now, you should have tried now. The music's gone now. You find out you lost it somehow. Hey you, sha-la-la-la. Hey you, sha-la-la-la. Gonna find out something's too late. Sha-la-la-la. Hey you, sha-la-la-la. Hey you say the race is much too fast. It's okay with me, I'm keeping pace. It's my game, the music is inside my head. Forever